What to do when you feel lost in life. If you feel lost, that's totally okay. I've been there and I understand the feelings of how it's upsetting and you're just a little bit confused. So if you want to gain a little bit more clarity on life and feel confident in your next step, this is going to be the video for you, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand how to gain more clarity and more direction in life, because I've been there. And so I feel like I can share some of those experiences that I've had to kind of help me navigate life. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Richardson. I'm a life coach here at Life on Your Terms, and I help people do this. I help people get unstuck and find their next step within life. So I promise you by the end of this video, you will understand that, and I'm going to show you my two-step framework to help you along the way. So the first step in this framework is to acknowledge and assess. Now, what I mean by this is that you may feel this vague feeling of directionless and you're just not sure what's next. So it's important to acknowledge where and why do you feel lost. An easy example is to understand that in your life, you're not going to be lost in every area. So an example of this is maybe you feel lost in your professional life. Maybe you feel like a goal of yours is to hit 100K a year and you're at 70K and you're just really not sure how to get to that 100K level. That could be a concrete example of feeling lost in life. Or maybe you're in your job and you just don't fully feel fulfilled within it. You feel like you're not making an impact and you're not sure how to make an impact upon that. So that's the where. You understand where. So what's the why? So you prepare with the professional, and then why do you feel like you want to get to 100K and why do you feel like you're lost getting there? Understanding the reasons you want the things you do, or understand why you feel lost. So understanding, okay, I feel like I'm not making an impact. Why do I not feel like I'm making an impact? Well, I feel like I'm not making an impact because I'm not dealing with this, or I'm not dealing with that. So example for me could be, in the past, I wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor, and I was like, I just don't think I would feel like I'm making an impact. So I understood that I was lost in that direction, and I may have been just chasing the money. So I needed to go into coaching or therapy to understand that this is where I would feel like I'm making a huge impact. And that's where I was able to understand where and why I feel lost. So if you're able to understand that, that can be a big step into fixing this directionlessness of your life. The second piece in acknowledging and assessing your life is the factors in your situation that are making you feel lost. You have to understand that all the past has led to this. Your past 5 years of decisions have led to this moment. So maybe you feel like you've gone to college, and at the time you were going to college, you weren't really sure. And then you get out of college and you get this job and you're still not sure. Well, if you look back, you can see, okay, well, I was unsure in college. It makes sense while I'm unsure in this job. Or you can even apply this to relationships. You could have gone on a date with someone a few times. You're like, I like them, but maybe I feel like I'm unsure of them. Then you get into a more serious relationship, and now you're married to them, and you're understanding that, oh, maybe I settled. And you got to understand that there's a lot of factors and decisions that have led up to this process, and that's okay. But you need to understand how this affects the why you feel lost. You need to look at recent events in your life. For me, I recently graduated college and I felt very lost after it. I didn't understand what exactly I wanted to do. I was really torn between going to be a therapist and going to be a life coach. I was lost in that. And what I had to do to make that decision, I had to understand, is with 3 years of the education system help me understand more of what I want to do. And I realized, no, it wouldn't, because I want to help people today. And as a life coach, I can do almost everything I can as a therapist. The only difference is I can't advertise in psychology today or get some of those clients through referrals as therapists do with their certifications, which can be very helpful for a lead generation system. I just need to build the skills of lead generation. As a coach, if I build that constant client flow, I'm going to be making the impact that I've wanted to make. So for me, that cleared up that decision for me to go to school or to be a coach. So I felt very lost, and that was a recent event. So I understand the where and the why. On top of that, you need to look at life changes. Maybe you've recently had a kid. Maybe kids just moved out of your house. whatever it is, if you can look at some life changes, you can understand again the where and the why. And I think that's the big thing with being lost, is that you could feel overwhelmed with feeling lost, but if you can identify the where and the why, it's a big step to understanding how to fix it. Now, with this, acknowledge and assess what friends, mentors, or your partner can help you through this. If you have a mentor, great, lean into them, have them help you with direction. If you have friends, talk about this issue with them. And especially your partner. Lean into your partner and say, I feel lost, I need help with this decision or gaining clarity, and just talk it out. That can be really helpful throughout this process. So that's the first step, is to acknowledge and assess. Now, the second step when you feel lost in life is to take action. And I truly believe it's as simple as that. One way you can take action right now is to take the balance wheel in the description below, because there you can identify your where and why. Because the balance wheel looks at your professional, your relationships, your health, and your resources. And I imagine you feel lost in one or two of those areas, not all four. But again, if you can identify your where and your why, you can then take action on that. So I encourage you to take that balance wheel in the description, because that can be helpful for when you feel lost. So once you've looked at where and why, you're going to look at what does amazing look like. So I'm going to reference again the professional side. So let's say you've identified that, okay, I'm at 70K, but I want to get to 100. Well, 100 is what does amazing look like. And then also you pair that with your relationship. You understand, okay, I feel like maybe I settled, or I'm not happy with this aspect of the relationship. I'm going to look at what does amazing look like in my relationship. How can I build that relationship back up so it is amazing? Look at what does amazing look like, really write that out. And the best question is, what does amazing look like 12 months from now? Write that down. Once you write that down, identify what is the first step you can take. What's the first thing you can do? Once you identify the first action step, starting is the hardest part. So with the 70 to 100K, maybe your first step would be having a conversation with your boss. Hey, I had this milestone goal. How do I get there? That's your first step. And that's going to be the hardest thing to do. Same thing with a partner. You realize, I'm not satisfied with this aspect of the relationship. It could be important to have that conversation with your partner. That could be your first step. That's often the hardest part. But if you can do that, you can kind of start to build off that momentum. So take action on what does amazing look like, and you can set goals around that. So you can set goals on your first steps, and those can be in the form of weekly goals. And you can also set quarterly objectives, which can be very helpful for you to lay out your whole plan of getting unstuck, of gaining that clarity. And that can be very helpful. And then once you do this, I would encourage you to reflect every quarter, because that'll help you, again, get that clarity, and you don't feel lost when you're starting to look back every quarter. So that's what you do when you feel lost in life. That's my process, and I find it very helpful.